The freak stuff in the bedroom. If race sprinkles is put into that context, what do we think of that?
How would race be put into the bedroom?
Use your imagination.
I have unintentionally been racist towards my partner. 3, 2, 1, go.
I've definitely been ignorant.
So we were.
I wrote it down.
So we had an argument, and I was upset, and I had previously expressed how the stereotype or the stigma on angry black men or angry black women and how that makes me feel. And so we got into an argument. I was an angry black man. But in that moment of anger, he actually called me an angry black man, which
is like the worst thing
made
to
me
say.
go crazy because that was like the one thing that I talked to him about. So that was a really bad fight, and it never happened again.
Right. I feel like, I'm strongly disagree, but I think as just a white person, I am just inherently ignorant. So I think I'm gonna move to somewhat agree. Dating a black man has completely opened my eyes more than I already thought they were open,
To be fair, you've never said anything that made me feel like, damn, she's racist,
I'm from the Bay, so it used to be in my vocabulary where I would say the N-word with the A. I would rap it, I would do just those things, but my slang in general would just tick her off. And then I became conscious of it, and I really liked her, or I still do, of course, I love you. I started changing the way I speak. I feel like she should be over here too. She would do Asian accents.
The only time that I feel like I could be offending Asian people is when I'm mocking you when you're mocking your mother.
There it is.
So I only do the accent when he does it, making fun of his mom. Before that, I never did that, so.
Okay guys, so we're gonna do something different. This is called hot takes. And basically we had our audience submit hot takes and assumptions that they make about interracial relationships. They're really hot.
Oh boy.
Sex gets steamy since you are interracial.
I think it adds to
I like the
appeal.
differences between us.
Yeah, definitely. There's not like any weird role play or anything. But yeah, definitely, makes it fun.
I will say, when I'm not with you, people will be like, oh, I know why you're with the black guy. And it's that's super disrespectful, because it's that's definitely on the line of fetishizing a race.
There's not many sexual stereotypes about white men. But walking down the street, especially dating an Asian woman, I get looks from men all the time, being like, oh, right? And people actually calling me out while I'm right next to her.
Interracial relationships can be a fetish, and that's okay if it's love too.
Even if you love the person, you just fetishizing that person is
feel like it
good at all.
devalues
Yeah,
it.
and you're devaluing the entire community in itself.
I think there's always room for growth, so I can understand if it starts as a fetish and then along, the relationship, they actually fall in love with that person and they realize that, okay, it wasn't okay for me to initially just like you based off of that.
If it's between two consenting adults, the freak stuff in the bedroom, if race sprinkles is put into that context, what do we think of that? It's just in the bedroom, or is it possible to just keep it in the bedroom?
How would race be put into the bedroom?
Use your imagination.
It doesn't even matter if you're consenting or not, it's still wrong.
Yeah.
Right? You want to say that stuff, you want to do that stuff because of the stereotypes you have of those people, and that doesn't really sit right with me whatsoever.
I have always wanted mixed babies. 3, 2, 1, go.
At one point in my life, I kind of wanted to have mixed babies with almost every race. I don't know if that's weird, but I just wanted, I'm real into genetics. I would like to see how my kids would turn out in
every race. Jeez. As a mixed race person myself, you don't have a group of people to really be around. I mean, sometimes you connect with one side, sometimes you connect with another side, but for me, it sucked actually a lot. I've accepted myself. I'm black and proud. I love the fact that I have both of these cultures and I really don't care. I just have to teach my kids that because of your skin tone, you either gain privileges or lose privileges.
Like I've had people at work, like we'll be talking about ourselves and I'll show them a picture of Ivan and they'll be like, oh my God, I totally wanted black babies like when I was like a teenager. And it's just like, this isn't Build-A-Bear, like
Right.
this is a human, like what the
Right.
So.
And I actually have an 8-year-old mixed child. It's been very challenging, but I've had to stick it out because I want to be a good father and I care about my kid.
This isn't Build-A-Bear, this is real life. And in my mind, I wanted to have kids that was exactly my skin tone or very close to it and look like me, because I am conceited as well. Where the hell I'm gonna find somebody to do that and it work out and they're just the perfect wife? I don't believe in that anymore.
It's funny because that was actually something we talked about when we first started dating. That became an insecurity of mine. I was like, so why are we dating? Because I cannot provide absolutely any of that for you. And so I understand, like I said, why he feels that way, why a lot of the black community feels that way. So I'm just glad that I'm accepted now in our relationship for that.
I sometimes feel like I betrayed my own race. 3, 2, 1, go.
Yeah. I definitely feel like that, man. I feel like, especially where I'm from, I did my people a disservice by playing into that stereotype. And knowing what I stand for now, it's hard for me to feel like I'm gonna be taken serious in the future if I ever wanna speak on controversial topics. My people won't respect what I say because like it doesn't add up, my views and stuff, and then I'm dating somebody outside of my race behind the scenes. I feel like I lose respect in a way.
Me growing up, like I was never always seen as black, whether it was because of how I looked or how I talked or my culture. But then when I get with someone who's not black, right, they're like, oh, you're betraying us. Oh, like I get comments literally in my DMs being like, oh, Alex, you're not with us no more, right? And I'm like, do you want me or do you not want me, you know? It doesn't bother me if you don't want me, and I understand it is what it is, but don't pick and choose and don't nitpick little things, right? If you want me to be part of your community, then accept me for who I am. Don't say that because I'm half, I don't get to participate in certain topics or certain discussions.
Being linked to another race has its benefits. 3, 2, 1, go.
I guess I feel like the word like linked kind of confused me because I feel like experiencing another person's experience, like what their culture, like the way that they live is definitely personally beneficial. But I think that like in terms of how others view me because I'm dating a white man, I don't find that beneficial. Like I feel like people might have like preconceptions about who I am because I'm an Asian person who's chosen to date a white man. Yeah, I had a question for, I guess, other people. Like, do you ever feel like being with a white person like could shield you from like discrimination, or like that they could like stand up for you in a certain context? Like if you were in like an altercation with the police or something, like would having a white person there, like
sure,
right?
Sure.
It would be helpful.
In that sense, and that's what I kind of thought of when I heard the question and I was listening to you. It was just like, I don't know, even a customer service experience. I don't know, just random experiences where the person on the other side might judge me based on me being black, but you know, versus someone else calling, or you know, him calling, and you know, it's a whole different experience. So they might treat, you know, us individuals differently. So there might be a whole different experience based on just that.
I feel like an outsider with my partner's family. 3, 2, 1, go.
So I'm sorry, Grace. In our lives, especially today, recently, politics plays such a huge part in it. And because you come from a conservative household, that's different from where I come from. And it does make me a little bit uncomfortable to know that I'm gonna be meeting people and have to have close relationships with them. and they don't value what I feel like I value in my life.
He's actually the first black man I have ever dated and the only person of color within like my family just in of itself. And so certain members of my family with the same political values as us like had to kind of confide in me like, hey, we support you with whoever you date, like we're here for you. So it was interesting to kind of see the different sides of my family members that I didn't necessarily know.
When I met her father for the first time, we were walking to get food and we saw the Ronald Reagan Museum or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, I love Ronald Reagan, right? And you can have your own personal opinions on presidents, but Ronald Reagan was like, he's like the main reason why black people are incarcerated. He's not a very good person to black people. So I was just kind of cracking up about that and I was kind of awkward, and I know you kind of bit your tongue on that as well.
Yeah, it was hard to not say anything.
But I was thinking about saying something to maybe like be like, oh, I don't know about that, but I didn't want to like argue with your father on the very first day that I met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't be very fun. Yeah. I don't know if I can exactly truly connect with him because of that. He's a very nice person, obviously, and he makes me feel comfortable, but at the same time I have to recognize who I am as a person.
I would say I somewhat agree because with my partner's family there's a language barrier. So I guess it's my responsibility now to try to learn the language, but sometimes when we're together, they're talking, I have no idea what's going on. So I think that's a bit of why I feel like an outsider, but other than that, I feel welcomed.
I wish we were the same race. 3, 2, 1, go.
I'll start. I feel like that would just be the default easiest way to navigate through life. But definitely, obviously growth happens when you're in interracial relationships. But yeah, that's kind of why I chose somewhat agree.
Yeah, I guess like you were saying, like I just feel like it would be easier in some aspects, and then for me, just like being mixed race, I have felt very like disconnected from my culture. So I feel like dating someone who was like Chilean or who was Korean would help me. But I also agree, like obviously, if you weren't white, you wouldn't be like you, and so I don't like wish that. And
the benefits outweigh like what I gain. It kind of sounds weird coming out because it's like, what do you guys get out of dating white people? But like, white people, I feel like we learn a lot.
I think it's interesting that everybody's saying that they feel it's easier, because I feel like it would be more difficult, me having a black man and raising a black family, that it would be more difficult if I was maybe with someone who was white, who could probably have benefits in other ways. I'm grateful for my husband and I love being with him. And I think there's a lot of benefits just culturally.
And you guys, that is officially a wrap.
Wow.
And then we also got you some really cute merch.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
It's really cute. Oh, thank you. Ooh, I kind of like this beanie. I know you don't wear beanies, huh?